What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of CNC. This is episode number 51, and today we are officially ending our 4th season with Newport County and beginning season 5 and our first year in the Premier League. Yes, after our title winning season where the Canaries absolutely bottled it, or we thought we bottled it, but instead they were flexing, wanted to go into the playoffs, get the TV revenue, and then go up that way. We're up to the top tier alongside the Baggies and the Canaries as well. And as Premier League football has arrived at Rodney Parade, we see our budget for our first year in the top flight, where Newport County have been given £42 million. Now, with wage budget alteration, it's more likely to be around £35 million, I would say. And don't forget, we will be putting players on higher contracts now. Of course, they're a top-tier team. The players that we have here are on wage increases with their deals that come at the end of the year. They'll be going on higher salaries per week, and the players will be signing as they'll be of a higher quality. They will be on higher contracts as well. So I'm looking likely it'll probably be around 33 to 35 million pounds, but it's a little bit over what I was expecting. I was thinking somewhere between 20 and 30 for our first year in the top tier. I knew it was going to be decent. We weren't going to have like 5 mil. Of course, playing in the Premier League, it was going to be quite decent, but I'd say 35 mil is a little bit over what I was expecting, and I'll certainly take it, no doubt about that. Now, of course, a 4-star team, this Newport County side, you saw as we went up last season. Heading into the Premier League, I briefly touched on it in the last episode. Where would we need to strengthen to give us the best possible chance of being competitive in the top flight this season? Well, you know, it's a really good team. There's no doubt about it. Rabbi Matondo won the Golden Boot last year. He is incredible. Our centre-back trio of Lloyd Payne, Joe Rodden and Brandon Cooper are really good. Then you've got Terry Taylor coming off the bench as well. Our midfield duo of Ben Davis, who is still here and not retiring at the end of the season, even though new boy Aaron Ramsey is only going to be here for the 1 year. We signed to a 2-year contract in January last season. He's only going to do 1. He'll retire at the end of the season. To be honest, 78 overall, 34 years old. Kind of happy about that, really. We won't really use him in the second season for next year, I should say. But even so, the team is good, but for strengthening, I'll probably say there's a lack of quality and depth in this team. And maybe the wing backs as well. I love Rashesha, I love Matthews, but for some reason, Tony Matthews just isn't growing, and I don't know why. That's a case of dynamic potential being broken. Rashesha's growing okay. 22 years old now, 76 overall, but we could possibly get someone better at right wing back. I think we both know who we're thinking about here. Nico Williams from Liverpool, potentially, and maybe some new wings as well. Love Ruben Colwill. Lloyd's a great young player as well, but maybe we could do a little bit better on the flanks this season. So we had several players that deals to come at the end of the year, and as you can see, these are players get contracts too. Adams, our backup goalkeeper. Ruben Colwill did get an extension, as did Aaron Lewis, one of the Newport County originals. Terry Taylor with a new 5-year, $5.5 grand a week deal as well. Brandon Cooper was of course going to stay, one of our regular CB trios and former club captain. Rashesha, fan favourite, love the guy, he's definitely staying as well. And the final 2 players I gave contracts to were Lloyd, the man who's so good they named him twice, and who was the other guy? Oh yeah. I love it. Ben Davis, an extra 2 years. But look at this though. Look at this on 15 grand a week. It wanted to go up to £44,000 a week. And I was like, Ben, bro, you came here for the project, but you know what? I love rewarding loyalty. 32 years old, 84 overall. He's still gotten better in his early 30s. And to be fair, the guy dropped down to League One at 29 years old. Like, he could have easily stayed in the top tier, instead decided to come with us. He spent 3 years with us now. He's guided us to 2 promotions in 3 years, and now he's back in the top flight. Talk about taking the hardest road for Ben Davis. I love that. So we reward his loyalty there. 45 grand a week, the highest earner in the team. And if anyone deserves it, it's Big Ben. Davis staying, not retiring, but signing an extra 2 years. He'll be here until he retires. Even at 40, I think this guy will still be playing, as he'll be saying there's more work to be done. But for new signings with Newport County, well, I mentioned it earlier. I said maybe a new winger could be a good idea, or possibly a new fullback. but I decided to go with the former. Now, we had two players on my shortlist I was very keen on. David Brooks, obviously everyone's sending their loves to Brooksy this year. Get well soon. Obviously, he's moved on to Lazio in the game. I thought it was going to be a little bit out of our price range in our first season in the top tier, but Dan James, former Swansea winger, going on to the Red Devils and now, of course, joining Leeds United. He's out of contract coming the end of the season, so I knew I could get him for under valuation, which is £28 million. I put in a £23 million. In the end, it was accepted with a 10% sell-on clause, which is of course redundant as he's a Welsh player, and Dan James was going to become my first signing in the Premier League era in Newport County. And again, I talked about the contract situation for this season. £59,000 a week, 5-year deal for the former Red Devil. Having said that, this is one of the very best Welsh players in the game. 82 overall now at 27 years old in the prime of his career. And everyone knows Dan James' best strength. It is his pace. This dude is electric. When he gets going, forget about it. And when you think about the success we've had with Rabbi Matondo in this Newport County team, what's Matondo's best asset? His pace. What's Dan James' best asset? His pace. So there's no doubt about it. We will definitely thrive with James and Matondo as two of our front three. If we can get another rapid player alongside them as well. I mean, to be fair, Colwill and Lloyd and Bound as well. They're all relatively pacey players, if not just as quick. So yeah, we've got some really quick players now in this Newport County front three. So I'll trade him to the left wing. He's a right mid / LM. Those are his two positions, but you know, we play with natural wingers, so we'll convert him to winger. He won't have an attribute downgrade, playing slightly out of position, but having him as a winger means we can put him on a specific development plan, which will be more beneficial for his growth. And again, at 82 overall, 27 years old, £23 million makes him a club record signing. But no doubt about it, worth every single penny. Spending the big bucks to bring him from Ellen Road. And I'm delighted with that signing for under the valuation as well. Still falling out two bids for two of our centre-halves. Joe Rodden and Lloyd Payne, rejected them both, of course. They were big bids, but, you know, I was never going to sell either of those guys, especially not Lloyd Payne. I talked about it before, getting youth academy grads through that have a good overall to begin with and great potential as well. They're going to be like gold dust, and they have been like gold dust throughout the course of this save, so selling them, even for big fees, makes no sense, because for club and country, that's detrimental to success of both Newport County and Wales. Having said that, we had a bit for Jack Madeline. We sold him to Cincinnati. He was here in our League 2 side, and he was with us all the way because I just couldn't sell him. Nobody wanted him, but he's gone to America and joined Cincinnati. And also Ethan Roberts has left on loan to Switzerland. He's joined FC Basel on a 2-year loan. 21 years old, 66 overall. Not sure he's going to make the cut now, but you never know. Sometimes you loan out a player and they have tremendous growth whilst they're out on loan. So there's always that chance he could come back a far better player, but it is quite unlikely. Still, speaking of far better players, Dan James's position change was complete. Again, it only took him 2 weeks to do this. And again, this means we can give him the inverted winger development plan, which means we can train up the finishing, the attack positioning, the shot power, the long shot stats, because as we know, this Newport County side, our wingers are inside forwards, really. You know, Lloyd on the right, and of course we had Ruben Colwill on the left. Although, of course, now Dan James is here. I'm thinking this year we might do two different wingers. So we'd have Dan James on the left and Mark Bound on the right. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But following that, this was amazing. Bid for Tony Matthews turned down from Watford, but Real Madrid with a £93.4 million bid for rapid Rabbi Matondo. And we said, lads, he ain't going to be the next Galactico. He's staying here at Rodney Parade. Yeah, as I always say, you know, a lot of the times I'll put emphasis on realism in my career mode saves. This is not one of them. This is a streamlined CNC save. So, of course, for realism, in another series I might have been doing, I probably would have accepted it. But this series isn't about being realistic. It's all about keeping it streamlined and just having some fun with a rule-based challenge as well. So, selling the best Welsh player we've got and the best Welsh player there is would make no sense. The big could have been £200 million, I still would have turned it down. Got to make sure we keep our best Welsh players, and Rabbi Matondo is the best of the best. So great bid, I have to say. I had a little chuckle when it came in there. Absolutely monstrous offer for Rabbi, but of course we were going to turn it down as it wouldn't be helpful for our club and country project. Still fun out, I sent our scout out for 9 months. I thought it was quite interesting. Leeds wanted to take Lloyd to Ellen Road on loan, just nick their Welsh winger. They want one of ours. But yeah, I sent him my scout out scout for 9 months, and you might have noticed this time I've specified an attacker from the youth scout, and I seem to mention this every time I send my scout out and I specify a type of player that I'm looking for. I always feel like it's detrimental, and it's really interesting because I have different opinions to some of you guys who think it's better to search for a specific type of player. We're looking for an attacker because obviously Alan Bound has been loaned out this year. He's gone out to Ibrox for 2 years at Glasgow Rangers, and we don't really have a backup striker for the bench. Isaac Davis could do that, but at 70 overall, 23 years old, he's not really the best option for Rabi Matondo, so I'm looking for a good striker to come out of the academy. But yeah, I talk about it all the time. I never seem to have as much success when youth scouting when I'm looking for a specific type of player, and I really don't know why it is. It's quite strange. I just always feel as though when I'm searching for any type of player whatsoever, I tend to get a better caliber and quality of players put into my scout reports, even if they are in random positions all over the pitch. But it's still fun out. We had another bit for Rodden, which turned down a loan offer for Kai Roberts, which we accept from Bournemouth. And also Sam Pearson, Brentford wanted to take him to the community savings. I said to Thomas Franca, 1.75 mil, and he's yours, lads. And the Bees accepted that deal. So yeah, relatively happy to get a little bit more money there because, again, after the signing of Dan James, not much to play with between now and the end of summer window. And I don't want to just have one new signing for our Premier League season. I feel like I'm going to need a couple more players to come in because there is a lack of quality of depth in this Brentford team. As I show you the full squad heading to the first game of the season here, there is a lack of quality and depth. And again, you look at the wing backs, you could say we could probably improve those. Tony Matthews, 74, Rashesha, 76. I know Norris and Davis, 77 is on the bench, but obviously I prefer Matthews as the academy graduate. But maybe a possible new right winger. Hey, listen, maybe even a new goalkeeper. I mean, Lee Price won the Golden Glove last year, but he's just not growing very quickly. Stuck on 75 overall, and for some reason, he's just not progressing. But even so, despite the signing of Dan James, we have now become a 4.5-star team. So we've just notched ourselves up to 4.5 stars. We were the lowest rated team in the division at 4-star, but now 4.5-star puts us on par with the vast majority of teams in the division. Of course, there are a few 5-star sides here as well. So, as we head into the first game of this season, I was really excited for this one. Mega Rich Magpies versus newcomers Newport at Rodney Parade. First game in the Premier League era. And you always want to start the season off with a win. You always want to start off with the 3 points, but I was just thinking, it's my first game of the top flight. I am so bloody nervous. Just don't lose and don't get battered. So far, every time, the 2 times we faced a Premier League side, we've lost. We drew with Southampton in the FA Cup third round back in League 2, but then of course we got thrashed in the replay like 7-8-0. Last year we were battered at Stamford Bridge by Chelsea in the Cup as well, so I was thinking, just put up a fight, you know, just do what you can. Newcastle had the first chance of the game, but 16 minutes in, we had our first ourselves, and talk about an instant impact. Dan James, debut boy, gives us the opener, but I talked about it when we signed him. What's his best asset? Pace. Runs in behind the back and mark out, and once he's in, forget about it. And this is what I need to keep on prioritising with this Newport County side. Playing the 5-2-3, we're very defence-minded in that regard. We're going forward our front three. If we can just slip them in behind the back line, then forget about it. That's how Matondo scored most of his 35 goals last season. Dan James, I want the exact same from him on the right-hand side. Just run in behind that back line and utilise that pace. Soon afterwards, Price made another great save, 2 in the game to keep it at 1-0, and then 35 minutes in, God, I should have doubled the lead here and totally fluffed my lines. Rashesha running through 1-1 with Zach Steffen. Good save with a 4-Man City goalkeeper, still 1-0, but really should have smacked that one in with more conviction. Still, leading by 1 at the break, and we were 45 minutes away from a win on our first game in the Premier League. Just 4 minutes after the restart, we would concede the equaliser. Gedson Fernandez not playing right wing back for AC Milan, but in this Newcastle United team, levelling it for Eddie Howe's side and making it 1-1. But despite them finding the equaliser, this was a really action-packed game, and I wasn't going to settle for the point either. Whilst pre-game would have taken it, during the balance of play and during the game I was thinking, I'm getting chances going forward, I'm getting chances going in behind the back line, and whilst I fluffed my lines with him in the first half, second time's the charm. Rashesha, I love this guy. He's been with us since the very first season and the very first episode. He's still here. He's 76 overall. I'd love for him to just get a little bit better but he'll always have a place in this Newport County squad. I love him. Runs in behind the back line, and our wing back makes it 2-1, restores our lead, and a few minutes later, oh yeah, put your money on this guy winning back-to-back golden boots. Rami Matondo running through one-on-one. He'd been relatively quiet during the game, but gets that bit of space in behind the back line. I always talk about it. Once this guy gets going, forget about it. You won't catch him. Bends it past Zach Steffen, beats the American. It's 3-1, and I was absolutely buzzing because whilst in stoppage time, the Magpies would get themselves a consolation goal and make it 3-2. God knows where those extra minutes come from, but even so, got themselves their second. It'll prove to be nothing other than a consolation. Final score in South Wales, and I was gleaming, I was buzzing. There it is, our first ever Premier League victory, and it comes on the open day. What a game though, absolute thriller. I had to be playing my absolute best in this game, especially on the offensive end, to make sure I get the points, but I did. This is going to be one heck of a tough first season for Newport County, I can already call it, because whilst getting the win, there were a lot of scares and I had to be at my best, and Price made some great saves as well, but that's what I want to see. One game, one win, Newport County, 4th place. Can we end the season there, lads? If only. But that will end this episode of CNC, guys. Massive thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of C&C, featuring 2 signings on transfer deadline day very soon.